Welcome to the Eye on Annapolis Local Business Spotlight. There are thousands of locally owned businesses in the area, some small and some large. Some you may know and others you don't. But one thing they all have in common is a great story, and we want to share it with you. Join us every Saturday as we talk to the founders, the owners, and the managers of local businesses you have come to know and love, and those you will come to know and love. Now here's your host, John Frenay, with this week's Local Business Spotlight.
We made the road trip up to Crofton today to 2101 Concord Boulevard, which is tucked in behind the Aldi supermarket and sort of back by Chesapeake Bay Roasters. And we're with Chillaxes, which is actually should be Chill Axes, but I kind of use the word from my college days. But we are here with Stacy Berver and Russ Smith, who are partners in a relatively new business. Thank you for inviting me up here to Chillaxes and this new, really cool business. How are you guys?
Doing great. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, okay. Chill Axes. Do you like the pause in between it or not?
I don't know.
I've always said it with the pause. Chill Axes.
Chill Axes. Okay, so we're going to go with Chill Axes. I'm going to try to remember to do that. But this is certainly a new concept to Anne Arundel County, and I've heard about it before, but it is an axe throwing business. And there's no ex-wives involved in that. I mean, we don't put any ex-wives or any ex-husbands up there.
No, but we've had a lot of people ask about that.
Yeah. There's a place up in Glen Burnie where you destroy stuff.
It's a rage room, right?
Yes,
yeah.
That probably does. That's where you can take out your rage there. But this entails a little bit of skill. So tell me a little bit about the business. I mean, how did you guys come up with this idea, and why, and what was the impetus behind it?
It's all Stacy's idea.
Uh-oh. Yeah, there you go. Sound.
Which is funny when you look at us. We always say that, Russ is the guy that looks like he would own an axe throwing business, and I'm the one that looks like I probably got roped into it by him, but it was the other way around. I went throwing with my kids and my family a couple of times and really enjoyed it. I was better than both of my kids, which was a first for anything that required any sort of I don't know if athletic skill is the right word, but we'll go with that.
Do you compete with your kids all the time?
With this kind of stuff, yeah, absolutely.
It's funny with my kids. I'll play with them games, and I'm like, hey, if you beat me in backgammon or be proud of yourself because you beat me. I said, I don't play to throw the game.
Yeah.
That's what I said. If you beat me, go into school and you brag about it.
Yep.
I said, don't. So you went here. Where did you go with your kids to when you?
We went the first time we went in Western PA, and then the second time we went in Breckenridge, Colorado. And both times I walked away saying to my husband, I think this would be a great business opportunity locally. There's not really much that's close to us. We've got locations in Howard County and D.C. There's one in Baltimore City. So we started talking about it and running the numbers. And it was just good timing for Russ and I in terms of some of the stuff that we'd been working on together was coming to an end. And, I was looking for a business partner. I didn't want to do it by myself. And here we are.
What is the concept behind throwing axes? I mean, is this take out the aggression? Is it just sort of blow off steam? Is it skill? I mean, it's kind of archery shooting range with.
I would equate it to bowling, where you're hanging out, having a good time, and the axe throwing is your activity. It certainly takes some skill. It takes some time to get good at it, but if you were here for an hour, by the time you'd leave, you'd certainly be proficient.
I imagine it's a workout.
A little bit. Yeah, it can be. I would say for two people throwing over and over and over again, but for a larger group, it's not as much. It's more of a relaxing, fun time with friends.
Well, and it's good for all different types of things. We've had, in the 7 weeks we've been open, we've had birthday parties, plenty of them, bachelorette parties, a couple of them. We had, we have two people come in for date night. We have friends come in that just haven't seen each other in a while. So, there's all those things. We're planning to start a league, and that is just a different spin on why or how you would do it. But there's lots of different types of people that are coming in.
This is very cool. I mean, the space that you have is beautiful. I mean, it's big, it's wide open, it's inviting, and so you're doing birthday parties for kids?
Not as much kids as adults. We did a 50th birthday party a couple weeks ago. We have behind you is our VIP area, which people have been renting out for birthday parties, where it's the same throwing experience, but you get sort of a semi-private area. We give you snacks and drinks as part of what you paid for. We give you special VIP axes and a prize for for the person who's the best thrower in your group. So people like that idea, and a lot of people have been purchasing that package for smaller birthday parties, so up to 12 people. But we've had people rent the whole facility as well for a couple of hours and come in and, like I said, we did a 50th birthday party 2 Fridays ago where they shut the whole place down for a few hours, brought in 45 people and just threw axes and had a good time.
Well, it has to be a very unique date night too, as well. I mean, and I don't say that laughing, but I mean it's. Okay, there's only so many, not right now, but there's only so many movies you can go see. And, you sit there in 3 hours in silence and, nod at each other. And, I've got to think that also for a first date, this has got to be certainly a memorable one.
Yeah. We've had a couple of those, too, at least the ones that we've talked to that have been dates that have said, I haven't actually been on a date with this person before. So that's definitely unique.
So, how does it work? Do we come in here and is it like a bowling thing where we get X number of throws, or is it hours, or is it time? How do we?
You're reserving it by lane, by the hour. So you can do it up to 2 hours plus. You can reserve however many lanes you want based on how many people you have with you.
Okay, come in here. You want to have it for the next 3,000 hours? Hey, why not, right?
If you want to pay for it, great. But yeah, up to 6 throwers per lane, and our online booking is an hour or 2 hours, but we can certainly make more than that work.
Very cool. Now, as I looked around here, and one of the first questions I asked before we started to record was that, do you serve booze here? And I said, well, maybe that's a stupid question or not. But, it does look, the way the lanes are set up, you've got the bar, the safety bar where you've got to stay behind and everything else. And it looks like it would be a perfect place. But you said this is a BYOB?
We've been BYOB so far. That's not to say we won't end up with our liquor license, but we think that customers have been happy with the experience, and they like to bring their own stuff and do things at their own pace, so it's been good.
And just to clarify, there's a whole specific set of rules that people have to follow when they're here, right? So not only do you go through safety training when you get here, you go through axe throwing training, and you have heard from the very beginning, whether you called us or made your reservation on our website, that BYOB comes with a set of parameters, what you're allowed to bring in, how much you're allowed to consume while you're here, and what will happen if you don't behave while you're.
So that whole take a shot every time you miss is not a game that's played here.
No.
It's frowned upon.
No, but people have been having a good time, and they've been very respectful of the fact that they are throwing axes at the same time that they're enjoying themselves.
Okay, well, Stacy, you mentioned safety training, and again, I know that I did the air tunnel thing up in White Marsh, and they did go through a whole safety training, and obviously, I've got to think that if you're not giving somebody and say, well, here's a bunch of axes, go throw them. What's all involved in the safety training?
Well, we spend, I'd say, 10 to 15 minutes at least with each group when they come in. We take them to their lane or set of lanes and give them, some very specific pointers on what is allowed and what is not allowed. We then spend time showing them the 2 different ways that we want them to throw, giving them some instruction on that, but then watching them actually do some test throwing after the fact. So that we can make sure that they're safe, that they're comfortable, giving them some pointers if they're not hitting it or doing something, that is just wrong and they're never going to hit it, for example. And like Russ said, most people get it within about 15 minutes, but we spend that time, not just from a safety perspective, but because we want people to have a good time while they're here.
Sure.
As well.
So you're evaluating them and helping, guiding them along, and then throughout the period
and then
we
don't necessarily stand next to them the entire time, but we kind of, walk around and talk to people, making sure that, we're available if they have questions, checking to see how they're throwing and giving them pointers if they seem like they need it along the way. And then there's also some training that goes into the projection system that we use. So one of the big things for us when we started this was we wanted to do a couple things that were a little bit different. And the projection system is different in that right now we have 4 different games that people can play. So you can throw at a regular target. You can throw at zombies. You can play tic-tac-toe, or you can play Connect 4. And you actually score by clicking on the target where you hit. So we give them instruction on that as well. So all of that is wrapped up into that kind of 10 to 15 minutes before they get started.
What did your insurance agent say when you said, hey, I want to open up a business? Okay, great. What are you looking to do? Well, we want to give access to people and let them throw it.
There's actually 3 or 4 companies that specialize in axe throwing insurance. So believe it or not, needless to say, we worked with one of those.
they're there. What are your hours? I mean, I'm assuming if somebody wanted to come in for a team building thing at 9 o'clock in the morning, that could be accommodated.
Yeah, we could definitely make that work. Yeah, absolutely. So on Mondays and Tuesdays, we're closed typically, but we're doing fundraising events with the local community where if you feel like you can bring in 30 throwers or more, we do that on a Monday or a Tuesday evening, and we're splitting the profits with the nonprofit or the organization doing the fundraising. So that's just a nice way for us to be able to give back to the community as well. We've done a couple that have been really successful, and we have a couple more on the books, so that's pretty exciting. But to answer your original question, we're open Wednesdays and Thursdays from 5 to 10 p.m., Fridays from 11 to 11, Saturdays from noon to 11, and Sundays from 11 to 9.
Okay, and your website is chillaxes.com, and ChillaXes.com.
The other thing that we did that we thought was really important outside of the projection system was we built this so that it was comfortable, so that people could come and they could stay. They could get here earlier, they could stay later, and just hang out with their friends. We have the couch and the big seat and the nice seating area and the high top tables, all for that purpose, to make it more than just coming in and throwing for an hour.
And then coming into a warehouse and throwing against the wall. And I noticed that when I first walked in. I mean, you had the couches, and probably what really drove my question is to whether you had a bar.
Yep.
Because, it really does almost look like that with the tables and everything else, and it looks like a good place to sit there and socialize. And it's wonderful that you're giving back to the community, so that's always good to be able to do that. Have you guys owned other businesses before this, or is this the first foray?
Neither one of us has ever owned a brick-and-mortar business.
Okay.
I've owned a marketing consulting business for the last 15 years.
And I own a hockey training business for the last 11. So
Hockey,
ice hockey.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. Do you play?
I played for a long time, not anymore. I played all over. I went to school in Western New York, and
that makes sense then.
Yeah, lucky enough to play pro all over the country, and ended up back home, and it's been been good so far.
Fantastic. Dude, I just realized a couple of years ago about the Maryland Black Bears.
Yeah. They're right up the street.
Yeah, I was like, really? Okay, I didn't realize that when I was talking with Robin, who's the general manager there, and Clint
Milmock.
Yes, Milmock.
Yep.
About
they've got an awesome thing going on.
Yeah. Sure. So, what is your audience here? I mean, you said it's not kids' birthday parties, but how can a kid come in here?
Anyone who's 12 and older.
Okay.
12 to 15, you have to have a parent with you. Right. 15 to 17, you have to still have a parent-signed waiver, but they don't have to be with you. And then, obviously, 18 plus, everyone signs a waiver, whether they're walking through the door just to watch or to throw.
Okay, and that's just in case something bounces off of
Absolutely.
the backside. Back. And have there been any near misses or anything like that, or has pretty much everybody been pretty well?
No, we've seen some really funny things, but we haven't seen anything that's really, really scary. We've seen.
Are you creating the YouTube cuts video there?
I know. We're definitely creating a list of things that we never thought we would see. It's been interesting, but for the most part, it's been pretty tame. Yeah. I would say our audience is really anywhere from early 20s all the way up to mid to late 50s. And we've been laughing because our assistant manager's 23, and you can tell when she posts on social media versus when we post on social media, but we've been doing a good job between the two of us of kind of putting things out there that are attractive to both groups, both age groups.
The old people and the young and the young people. It's funny. You can totally see the different or hear the different voice in social media with emoji, and it's like I'm not into the whole. I might get a smiley face and that's about it.
Right, and the TikTok videos and the
that's true.
Snapchat.
Are you guys are I'm assuming are all over social media as far as Facebook, Instagram,
and Instagram Snapchat are the two big. Yeah,
are the two biggies. That's very cool. Eat here. Can we eat here?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's bring your own food too?
You can bring your own food. Order. You can have it delivered while you're here.
Come here, throw axes, order like a pizza for delivery and...
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's what most have done. They've either come in with food or they've ordered when they've gotten here.
And bring a cooler of beers.
Yep, exactly.
All right. We need. Now my mind is going here. We've got to get a bunch of people. We used to have a trivia team that we used to play, and we haven't in the last year. But this might be kind of fun, and it is a good socially distant.
It really is.
Type of a thing. You come in with your pod if you're still, we're moving out of this whole pandemic thing, thankfully, but you could come in with your pod, with your family, with your tight friends, and be there and still be socially distant from everybody else. How tough was it? What happened to you guys right after you opened your doors and COVID rolled down? What did you guys have to do to adjust after you got done crying?
Well, we kind of knew that we might hit up upon this in some respect, right? And our business plan was built on not being at 100% capacity, obviously, potentially forever, but not knowing what capacity the state would be at. The state was at 50% capacity when we opened because we're classified like a bowling alley. So we opened every other set of lanes to begin with. And we only so if you came in and you were a party of two, you ended up having 2 lanes to yourself. Okay. And we were what we like to call COVID booked, fully booked, pretty much on the weekends from the moment that we opened. Now, that wasn't nearly as many people as we could have in here as the restrictions lessened, but it still felt good to know that, people weren't necessarily staying away because they were comfortable coming in, knowing, that they weren't going to be close to anybody else. And
you've also got a winning business plan. People are here because they want to be here. It's not like nothing worse than opening the doors of the business and nobody comes. Oh, so nobody likes that whole polka dance studio thing. Maybe we need to add accordion lessons. Yeah. I don't know, to figure out.
And what? We do a lot of cleaning. Honestly, we wipe down everything between parties. So the stools, the tables, the axes,
keyboard, mice.
Yeah. So.
What's it take to maintain? Are you sharpening axes in the back all the time, or is it like
not as terrible?
You're a hockey player. After every period, you're getting your skate sharp.
The axes aren't bad at all. And back to what you asked about the safety part, the outside of our targets are all framed in rubber. It's a no bounce border, so the axe hits that rubber border, that black rubber border, and the axe is going to fall to the ground.
Okay.
So it keeps it from coming back at you. It also helps protect the axe from misses. So we're hopefully either hitting wood or we're hitting a rubber mat, and that protects the axe a lot longer. Okay. So our biggest upkeep is maintaining the targets and changing out the blocks and just making sure everything's good to go for every party.
Now, I'm looking here, and we'll get a picture of this and add it with the podcast, but I'm looking at a target on your blocks of wood. Now, is that actually painted on there or chalked on there, or is that projected on there?
That is projected. So that is a projected target. This target actually moves after every round, and you would keep score by clicking where you hit with the axe.
Okay.
So if you went double bullseye, next round the target will move. Makes it a little more challenging, keeps the board a little better, a little bit longer.
That's very cool.
Yeah, so we go corner to corner, and then we end up back in the middle after a few rounds. And then we have 3 other games as well. So we have throwing at zombies.
Right.
Or we have zombie heads up there, and you get a point for every zombie that you kill.
Okay, here's your next business plan. You ought to allow people to upload pictures of their exes and their ex-spouses or something like that and project them on there.
We've definitely heard that before. Absolutely.
That's really cool.
And then we have tic-tac-toe.
I think it makes it more of a fun experience because, when I don't know about everybody else, but when I go bowling, I bowl a game and then I think, okay, maybe I can bowl one more game before I get bored. Right,
it's the same 12 pins or whatever in the same...
Yeah, right, so with this, you have the opportunity to switch back and forth between the games, which people really seem to... no one's really coming here because they're going to be an axe throwing champion, right? They're coming here to have fun. So.
Well, that would be amusing.
It would be.
That'd be a good video. You get some throw it out there. How many axe throwing things are there nationwide? I imagine it's not that big. Probably a couple thousand.
I really have no idea.
I don't know
Can you
either.
venture a guess?
There's a few bigger franchises, and then beyond that, it's like most of them are individual ownership. Yeah.
Did you guys look at other businesses before you went into Axis, or was this just Stacy's crazy idea that she called Russ up and said?
I think we've been to everyone in the area prior to opening and just.
But I meant other just business concepts. Did you look at maybe curling?
We didn't, but we did talk about what other things could be complementary to this at some point in the future if we want to expand and not expand by opening another axe throwing business.
Okay.
But we didn't get very far because we really focused on this. But we did have ideas.
Very neat. What do your neighbors think about it?
We're working on that.
We're working on that.
We've made some adjustments, so all of the targets are freestanding now, which has lessened the burden on the neighbors a little bit. But
the good news is there's not a ton of crossover in hours. Mm-hmm. So, we're here in the evenings. We're here. Saturday is by far our busiest day. And we're here alone by, I think, 1 p.m., 2 p.m. for, the next 9 hours of the night. So. Right.
Well, I'll tell you, this is amazing. I mean, congratulations on opening. What does somebody need to know about chillaxes that they don't know?
I think the biggest thing that people need to know is that anyone can do it. I mean, literally, like Russ said earlier, within 15 minutes of being here, most people are hitting the boards. Maybe not hitting bullseyes, but they're hitting the board.
Yeah, they're sticking axes and hitting the board,
it's just you. First of all, you can tell because people start screaming really loudly, right? But it's just the greatest feeling to know that you can actually do it.
And can you make a reservation to come here online?
Yes.
So I can book my axe throwing time right online?
And actually preferred. That way you get your waiver online and you can share your waiver with the other people in your party.
Just come in, show my ID.
You show in what you have and we'll get
trained
started as soon as we can,
And do that. Now, can a single person come in and just do it as opposed to up to 6 people per lane?
For sure.
That's very cool. And it's per person, per lane, per hour?
Yep.
Unless you're booking a big event and then it's...
Right, then we figure it out.
Yeah, exactly.
I totally hear that. Congratulations. This is really very cool. I'm throwing this out to my trivia team because we periodically, when we don't do trivia, when we did trivia, we would say, hey, let's go do this one night or go do that one night. And this would be a great thing because it's very convenient to Annapolis. I mean, if you are if you're familiar with the Crofton area, what you want to do is go on where 424 sort of dead ends into Route 3. You want to go on the other side of that and just if you're on 424, you take a left into the first road beyond Route 3, or if you're on Route 3 south, take a right at 424 or a left at 424, and it'll be, if you're going north, and it's right there. It's hard to miss. It's got a big black and green sign out front, and it's very neon green with dark brown on the inside, so it's very easy. Plenty of free parking, certainly a one-up over Annapolis for sure.
Yeah.
No garages needed here or anything like that. And come on out and throw some axes. I think this is fantastic. And, congratulations to you both. We're with Stacy Berver and Russ Smith, who are the proprietress and proprietor. Is that right? Or partners or...
Both.
Yeah. A little bit of everything. And now are you the managers, the safety instructors, the janitors?
Come in, you always get one of us. One of us is always here.
We are very skilled at a lot of things now. Yep.
Well, that's the life of a business owner. Yeah. I said there's nothing. I'm from the top to the bottom. It's I want to speak with the manager. Well, you're in luck. Guess what? Wait, I just thought you were cleaning up the kids' vomit on the other. Yeah, well, that's the way it works. Chillaxes.com is where you want to go to learn about it, to book your time here, and then come on up here and throw some axes. This would be really cool. And I think I want to give it a shot and see what it's all about. Hey, thank you guys very much for inviting me up. And
thank you.
Congratulations. And I'm looking to hear some great things coming out of Chillaxes.
Thanks for listening to this week's Local Business Spotlight. Please make sure to visit eyeonannapolis.net for all your local news, events, and opinion. And in case you haven't already, please subscribe to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief, where we bring you all the day's local news direct to your phone, tablet, or computer in about 10 minutes. It comes to you at 6 a.m. every Monday through Friday, and you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.